So what I'm going to do here is I need you to make sure you're viewing my Canvas screen right now on the Google Meet. But we are going to open up the file that we need to do a virtual online lab on a new website, and it is right here underneath the lab category. It's the second one down. It's called Gizmos Mass Virtual Lab. So I do need you to open up that document here. And when you do click on that, it's going to give you a link to hit make a copy. So we're in the Gizmos Mass Virtual Lab. Okay. And it's going to prompt you to make a copy of it. You want to do that, of course. And then it's going to open up the document. And this is what it looks like. Okay. So my screencast is being slow here. All right, so what you're going to do now, this program, the Gizmos program, is what I have emailed you. I have emailed you a username and password that it automatically produced. I wish it would be a login through Google. It is not. I basically typed in your names, and then it gave me, it's basically your first name, your last initial, and some numbers. And then the passwords are generic. They're like pen123 or cal345. There's just random, like a short word and some numbers, basically. Okay. So you should be able to log in. Now here's how you get to the link. There is a separate link in Canvas later on somewhere, but this is hyperlinked in the title of the document. So if you click on this title, it says Student Exploration Triple Beam Balance, and you're going to open up the actual link to the online Gizmos. So this is a new program we're trying. Looks like this. Now for you, you're going to have to use the username and login that I gave you. The username and the password, you're going to have to type that in, and then it should launch to like a screen, and then it'll have like a little list. It'll say Triple Beam Balance because I had to assign that to you. So use the generic username and password that I emailed you when you click on the link to actually log into the program. Okay. I'm going to pause my video for a second. I'm going to make sure everybody's good to go on the login process. So again, when you log in with the username and password I've provided to you, it should automatically, a list should pop up, and it really only has one thing in the list. So it should be almost like a little bar, and it's going to say Triple Beam Balance. And you do need to click on something that says Launch Gizmo. Like if you get it to a screen that looks like this, you actually have to click to launch it, to launch the program. Okay. And then what you'll see here is a Triple Beam Balance. You'll see some close-up views of things down here of the riders and the beams. Over here, here's the pointer and the scale. And then there are 4 objects that you are going to be massing. Now, before you do that, if you look at your document on the Google Doc, so you do need to follow the instructions to go through the simulation, respond to the questions and prompts that are in the orange boxes. So they are orange on your screen. The first part of it, we want you to just kind of play around on the gizmo. It talks about what a triple beam balance is. It's actually a lever, and you're going to study levers when you get to machines. It's something you study in 8th grade. And it just says here, practice using the balance in the triple beam balance gizmo. How do you balance the object on the measurement tray? So AKA the pan, we call that the pan. So basically you're just going to play around with it for a little bit. So what you have to do is you move the riders down here in this like close-up view of it. So I can, move them like this back and forth, and it clicks into place nicely. Okay. So, and then I can put, let's put the light bulb up here. So you drag your light bulb up to the pan. Okay. And then you can practice, measuring it out and seeing what happens here. All right. Now remember, when you use a triple beam, you always start with a 100 gram mass. Even if you don't think, that little teeny tiny light bulb in reality would not be more than 100 grams, but this says it is. And you keep going. Now, once it drops down below the scale. Once the pointer drops all the way down like that, that means it's too heavy and you have to back it up a notch. So you're going to take this and I'm going to move that back to 200, okay? Then I'm going to go to the next largest rider, which is the 10-gram rider, okay? And I'm going to keep doing this. Now 50 is too much because the pointer is below the scale. So I'm going to back it up to 40, okay? The last one here. Now, when you hover your cursor or your mouse over the 1-gram rider up front, it does enlarge it on the left, which is very nice, okay? And when you get close to, I'm looking at the pointer on the right here, and I want to get it lined up with the 0 on the scale. When you get close, it zooms in for you, which is really nice, because you want to try to get it as, you want to get that pointer lined up right on that 0 mark on the scale, okay? So then basically you again would add up these 3 beams, and when you hover your mouse over the 1-gram rider, it zooms in over here on the left, so you can get that to the nearest 10th, okay? So the first part though is just you're practicing using the gizmo, you're answering some questions, you're observing what happens, like number 2, always put your riders back to 0. I'm going to take my object off. Number 2 is asking the riders, it's talking about the riders, and it says drag the 100-gram rider to 300. So this is with nothing on the pan. It wants you to do this. And then it's saying what happens to the pointer. So you're talking about what's going on with the pointer here. And then on the next page, it's asking you to actually put some of the objects up there now with the 300 grams in place to see which ones have a mass greater than 300 and how can you tell that, okay? The last part of it is basically measuring the mass of all 4 of those things, the paper clips, the cone, the light bulb, and the cube. One thing I will say, you guys need to put units after your numbers. When I graded the triple beam balance practice labs last night, a whole bunch of people are not putting units after their numbers. That's the kind of thing I would mark wrong on this lab. I considered the previous thing we did was the practice lab, but this is like more of an official lab, and we do need to put that lowercase g or write out grams after all the numbers you type in there into your document, okay? So that's basically the triple beam balance gizmo. Let me know if you have any questions, okay?